of you have asked me to do it right. Now, I can only do it with one hand since I'm holding the phone, but here we go. Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is Dr. Vairavi Balasubramaniam, PhD, the Sky Priestess. And what we're doing today is a live check in on YouTube, just seeing how you guys are, what are you up to. This is an extension of my Hello Neighbor series on Facebook. And from time to time, I just pop up and I see how everyone's doing. So far, there's one person watching, which is great. Hello, one person. Very much appreciated. Now there's three. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Like I said, we're just doing a live check in. Just because I know the energies have been very, very, very dense. I've had a lot of emergency cases, especially last night, and I was looking at this going, oh dear. So, I just figured I'd say hi, see how everybody is. Hello, Dr. Soki. Nice to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Brandon. Nice to see you too. Yes, it has been a very, very intense energy, and I don't want anyone to think that this is normal or that we should really normalize this. Just give me a sec whilst I copy paste the link to my Facebook so that people know that this live is going on. Woo! And as you can see, I did something with my hair, which was in Malaysia, it's ridiculously cheap. It costs the equivalent of 5, 6 US dollars to get it trim and to get it blow dried. And I've got the kind of hair that will go out of place within, like, I don't know, 10 minutes. Hang on. That's just me in the background. Okay, so let me just get our Facebook friends here as well. So, yeah, there's been a lot of emergency cases, and I've just really been feeling the pressure, and I just felt a little bit of self-love. A little bit of self-love would go a really long way. And it did. It did. It just took the weight off. It just took the weight off. And I'm just sharing this on Facebook so people can join us. I am reading your comments, just bear with me. On when I did this on Facebook, Hello Neighbor 5, my brother's cat was kidnapped or catnapped and made a guest appearance. I thought I could do that again here, but unfortunately, she's just kind of, Auntie, leave me alone now. And the cats are better. We are in a transit place right now, and it's we've got to find a new place to live. I've got that happening. We're still moving out of the old place, and this the workmen and renovations, because it was a rental, are just like kicking our asses by just delaying randomly. So, the past couple of nights I've been trying to sleep and the energy is off. Both these little cats come along, and my cat bites my toes, and my brother's cat just keeps pawing at me. And I go, you don't do this to my brother. But it's like both the cats are going, hey, the energy's not good. Don't sleep. It's not good. And then they only let me sleep when I do some clearing or something like that, or get a friend to help out. So the cats have been up. That's not been fun at night. It's literally like having two toddlers. Um, and there's just a lot of very, very dense energy going on. So, yes, there's astrology to explain this, but really, at the end of the day, astrology is um, it's a metaphor for the human experience, but it's not the human experience. The human experience is the fact you're experiencing it. It goes beyond just cognitively knowing, oh, this is happening and that is happening, and it's about an actual feeling, which is why I do the Hello Neighbor series on Facebook, and I'm doing the quick check-in equivalents here on YouTube as well. Now let me see some of your comments. Dr. Mamta, oh dear, you were in an accident, red light, not a scratch, did not hurt anyone. It was a miracle. I'm very happy to hear that you're okay. Your guides are watching over you. Chronic fish had a kidney infection for the second time this month and surgery. Body feels ruined with all the antibiotics and fever. Goodness. Yeah, there's just a lot of health crises, accidents. Oddly enough, a lot of people I know suddenly their dads have died on them. So that's another theme that's happening, and it's just not easy. And in case you're wondering what the background noise is, they're doing spraying here, where they because there's a lot of mosquitoes, and mosquitoes that breed too much can spread the dengue fever, which can actually be fatal for those with immunologically compromised systems. So they're doing some spraying on the outside, and we've got the windows closed, thankfully. Though my cat is investigating. Let's see if I can. Does it turn? There we go. She's investigating. She wants to know what's going on. Hi, Lucky. There we go. She's saying hi. All right. I hope you could see her. At least I thought I was holding it in the right way. um, at least. But yeah, is there any, apart from astrology, like I said, I don't want to make this about the astrology, it's more about the human experience. Are there any questions? Are there things that you just want to share? Anything, any perspective that you might need on a situation? Just feel free to ask, feel free to type. It's also just cool to shout out hi and tell me something cool that your cat or dog might have done. That's totally fine. But yeah, what's going on with you guys? Oh God, that's me again. Hang on. Ah, sorry. I'm still getting used to this new computer. And I think Facebook has also changed its format a little bit, so that's taken a wee bit of adjustment to figure out. So yeah, just waiting for feedback from you guys. What's going on? What are you up to? What are you doing? What's happening? I know I get a lot of messages, and I get these really long messages of people in crisis, and then I just kind of sit there going, okay, do this, and this. And sometimes it's not about astrology, it's about, okay, oh God, this has happened to you. I'm sorry this has happened. You need to go to the police. You need to speak to this kind of officer. You need to go to the lawyer. You need to ask questions like this. And I'm like, this is not my job. But since I've gone through, I would probably say too many harrowing experiences that I care to admit. I've kind of been around the block a bit. And so, whether it's someone dealing with domestic violence, or whether it's someone whose ex has just beaten them, or whatever, it helps to speak to someone who can just tell you very practically, okay, pop, 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 this is what to do, this is what to do. Pepper says they can't say if it's a male or female. They're in court with an ex who's a criminal lawyer, and the corruption in the system is shocking. Yeah, yeah. Chronic Fish wants to know, is 2020 going to be a good year, generally speaking? I think the fact that I looked at my laptop and cussed at it so bad that it died. Yeah, the circumstances conspired to kill it because I cussed at it for 2 hours straight. I think that about tells you my thoughts on 2020. Okay, Dr. Mamka's got to sign out because calls coming about her car from the police. See, there's a lot of really red flag incidents that are happening. Now, 2020 is it's a very transformative year. It's a very powerful year, but it doesn't always mean that it's going to be fun. Really, I mean, I would say, as I was telling in my Tier 23 program, a lot of decisions were already made in 2019. I think a lot of people are belaboring under the delusion of, yes, if only we talk about our opinions, other people will change their minds. It's not happening. People have already very clearly situated themselves on which side of history they want to be on, whether it's life affirming, planet loving, people respecting, or whether it's just going to, create more division, more actual division, more actual polarization, more actual harm to the planet. And unfortunately, people have already taken their stance on where they want to be. So, right now, I would say the sheer level of triggering trauma, cognitive dissonance that's going on is more like people waking up to the fact that everyone has chosen where they want to be, or rather, what road they want to walk on. And right now, the truth of those choices are coming up. For example, what's happening in Canada is shock. Well, and honestly, it's not that shocking. It's really not that shocking. As you know, my academic background is political science. And whilst a lot of political scientists who are optimists, I was never an optimist. I just kind of looked at it and went, you can talk about liberalism as a philosophy in contrast to realism, you can talk about the humanistic renaissance and, retelling of human values, but no, the same problems are going to be there. And they're coming out, for all their talk of reconciliation. What's going on right now with the, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, the, oh God, I hope I don't offend anyone by saying it incorrectly. But I believe it's wets. Uh, Okay, I'm just going to say it the way I know how to say it. If anyone has better pronunciation, please tell me. The Wet'suwet'en First Nations people who are fighting for their lands in Canada right now. I mean, that's a clear example of the fact that people have woken up to the fact that whether it's government or whether it's well-meaning woke liberals, a lot of people have not actually changed their fundamental politics in the past few years. They've made a good show and tell about it, but it's really coming into manifestation and experience, and people are waking up to that reality. Is 2020 going to be a good year? I don't know, but it's going to be a very sobering year. It's certainly a year where delusions, illusions, pretty thoughts, fanciful ideas are not going to fly. There's going to be a period in the middle of the year, especially with the Venus retrograde in Gemini, where people are going to want to try and crawl back into the sugar coated bubble dome, but I don't think that's going to last very long. We're really seeing the harsh truths and realities of the choices that we as individuals and larger societies and states have made with us. And I know it seems like gloom and doom, but um, really, it's the kind of energy that needs you to come to this point of critical mass before something breaks through. That's the way I would see this energy. Really, to change society and the planet, people have to first see the truth of what society actually is. Now, some people might find this unloving, but that's bullshit. Love in its actual form is willing to go down there and face the shadow in the eye. It's not about making people feel comfortable. So all of those things about let's just be nice, that has already flown out of the window. Nice, I think, probably died sometime in 2017. This is a year of, it's not even getting real anymore. People are already real. This is a year of shit hitting the fan, and the sum total of our choices and decisions being presented to us. But this is where the cognitive dissonance is. A lot of people have very, very noble intentions, but they don't want to recognize the fact that they live in a world where many other people may not share the same intentions, and they go, but I think this way, and the rest of the world doesn't. Because it takes more than your individual intention. It actually takes your action and engagement in the world to make a difference at the 3D level. Let me just have a scroll of comments for a wee bit. Hang on. Okay. Durdana wants to know any words of wisdom from you would be so appreciated. It's always been a tough ride till now. Okay, I know those alignments. I know those alignments. What I would say for you, Durdana, is just stick to your emotional compass. As a Cancer rising, you would have that compass, and just believe in that and allow that to take you where it needs to go. Anamik says, give love to people's beliefs. I'm sorry, I can't love a Nazi's belief in not that says that some people deserve to die. Melody says, I don't know what my ascendant is. I suspect it's in Scorpio. Apparently, that means we're having car troubles during Mercury retrograde. See, this is the thing that, this is the thing. Are we in Mercury retrograde yet? Let me just double check. We're not actually in retrograde yet. Mercury retrograde hasn't even started yet. We're just in the build up to it. But I don't disbelieve you, Melody. I see a lot of breakdowns in the electronics around me and even this apartment that I'm temporarily in right now. Chronic Fish wants to know, what is your take on coronavirus? Phew. Um, well, I'm in Malaysia, as you know, and yeah, there are infections here and so on and so forth, but there isn't mass panic and hysteria. People are still going about their lives. We get a whole bunch of Chinese visitors. It's something where, the biggest impact that coronavirus has had here, and that's what I can authoritatively speak on, is you see little posters stuck outside maybe pharmacies with lists of symptoms. And you see people, like, for example, in malls. I took a photo of this, seeing this phone booth, not phone booth, but booths selling phone equipment with a little placard saying, "Sorry, we have to wear mask." So I thought that was hilarious. But for the most part, no, people are just continuing on with life because, honey, there's so many things that can kill humanity. Okay, there's so many things. Honestly, I think we should just give it as much thought as any other thing which can kill people, including taking a shower and standing in the bathtub. As long as you're taking your precautions. Are you taking immune supplements? Are you taking, whether it's magnesium, zinc and vitamin C are pretty good. Are you, or echinacea? Are you doing stuff that, just allows you to be a little bit more physically strong than you normally would be? Are you washing your hands before and after you eat a meal? Are you cooking your food properly? Those are the kinds of best steps that we can take. What I would say about coronavirus is it's a really good opportunity for us to really come into contact with fear and to decide what we are going to do about fear. Fear can paralyze you, fear can cripple you, but being afraid is not going to prevent the coronavirus from attacking you. Because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who got it without necessarily even knowing what it was or the fact that they were even ill. So your fear is really an option. Just be practical. Be practical in the kinds of things that you can do. Remember, Capricorn is the start of the year. Capricorn's energy is all about the practicality of things. Stick to the basics. So, okay, you're worried about coronavirus. If you see a group of people coughing in a lift, maybe wait for the next lift. So, just do really practical things like that. Your anxiety, your fear, yes, it's a very, very common response. I got too many other things to do than to spend my time worrying about something that could kill me. Because that's literally the energy of the year. I have too much shit to do than to worry about hypotheticals. Just do your basic due diligence, take basic precautions and steps, because at the end of the day, life is unpredictable. What I would be very concerned about, and for me, the thing that really pisses me off about coronavirus is the fucktards who are using it as an excuse to be racist. That pisses me off. Chinese people being excluded from hair salons. Literally, I just had my hair cut by a Chinese woman. There are Chinese people all around Malaysia. Or people who are not taking Uber rides with Chinese drivers. People who are blaming the Chinese for their exotic food habits. Now, I'm not saying I endorse the exotic animal trade at all. No, I do not think it's acceptable to kill a rhino because you want its horn. But you did not get this level of racist discrimination when you had is it the foot and mouth? Has it hand and foot or foot and mouth? I always get those names confused. What's the name of the virus that hit Europe that came from beef? Foot and hand disease? Foot and mouth disease? Hang on, I'm tired. Yeah, foot and mouth disease. Oh no, it's actually hand, foot, and mouth disease. I was right. So when that happened in Europe, you didn't get all of these comments. Mad cow disease. Yeah, you didn't get all of these comments. You didn't get all of these things saying how horrible Europeans are and Europeans getting banned from places and whatever. This is just old racist rhetoric. That is the angle that I take on coronavirus, and I literally live in a country where I could get it. So, no, for me, this is not, again, not armchair, words, but literally in a place where, yeah, this could happen. But at the end of the day, these kinds of epidemics and these kinds of scares give you the opportunity to determine what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be an absolute I'm not going to use the words of choice here, but are you going to be the kind of person who hates on, people of a certain ethnicity because that's how you want to play out your fears and your anxieties? That shit. I mean, honestly, I kind of give it to the Corona Beer Company because obviously people started making jokes about that. And that I can understand. But they're like, no, drinking our beer will not give you coronavirus, but here's the symptoms that you need to watch out for. That was class. I was like, good job, fellas. But that's the kind of way that they handled it. It was perfect. But I remember on my timeline, there was this woman who was very much into esoteric and spiritual and all these things, talking about all this intellectual stuff, and she shares a photo of a Chinese takeaway box in the shape of a coffin. And I was like, that's it. Didn't say anything, just unfriended, made a short statement on my profile, and that's it. There's a joke, and then there's literally the kind of joke that ultimately leads to dehumanization and the kinds of rhetoric that allow genocide to happen. We're not that many steps away from it happening all over the world. So let us have the compassion to not give in to those kinds of stereotypes. Let's see. Any other questions? Abundance asks, any advice for dealing with Venus in Aries from a Libra Sun, Venus, and Mercury? Oh dear. My heart really goes out in a certain sense to the Librans because Black Moon Lilith in Aries, Venus in Aries, Eris in Aries, the Librans are basically going, how do I handle this, man? And I can totally understand that. For Librans, it's actually a really good kick in the pants because Librans there's some exceptions, but Librans tend to be overly giving. They tend to be overly, porous about their boundaries because they're more interested in making the other person, comfortable at their own expense. So Venus, Black Moon, Lilith, and Eris and Aries are going to kind of be giving you the kick in the pants to go, okay, I can't put up with this anymore. I have to first set my own boundaries in order. So that would honestly be my advice for people with strong Libran alignments who are wondering what to do. Pepper wants to know, is there any time during this year that the intensity eases up? Short answer, no. Sam, what should I do if I have upset an Aries, Taurus, cusp, Scorpio rising, Libra, North Node? Oh dear God, I'm completely stuck. Sam, what did you do? Samar says, respect to Chinese people, and at least we can wish them well, sending love and healing to them. Um, yeah, that's the right attitude to take. But Sam, I can't really say anything without knowing details, but it does sound like you might have pissed off the wrong person. Oh no, not a good idea. But basically, Sam, even without knowing the context, the best you can do in any situation is just be clear about who you are, where you are coming from, and sincerely apologize if it's something that you were in the wrong for. That's the best you can do. If you are dealing with an adult human being, that should be enough. And if you've done something really, really, really terrible and need to be held accountable for it or need to make amends, then ask them, what should I do to make this better, if that's possible? And if that's not possible, state your intentions and give them space because there's just a lot going on. Okay, R. Wood asks, how was blood work on both kitties? All right, now, my dear little brother's kitty, whom I wanted to show today, but she was just like this, which is what she does. It's not a bad thing. See, this is funny that we're talking about coronavirus because cats have coronavirus. And it's probably one of the reasons why very, very uninformed people are hurting animals in the name of coronavirus, which is very, very, very bad. And I don't want to be there when their souls have to decide what their next lesson is going to be. Let's just put it that way. But cats have coronavirus, and especially stray animals, but it's not transmittable to humans. It's got nothing to do with that. So little Lucky has feline coronavirus, but thankfully she's a passive carrier. So with the right kind of environment, with the right kind of immune supplements, Because literally, I guess one of the reasons why I'm so calm about all this is we literally nearly lost both our cats. And we love them respectively like children. So, probably probably more than our own souls. But, so when we actually had to deal with this a couple of weeks ago, it just kind of went into a very practical mentality. Now, Hanuki, my cat, has been a bit too aggro to allow herself to calm down enough to go and have her bloods done. So the doctor has a very convoluted plan to try and get her to calm down so that we can actually put get her blood work done. But the last time a vet tried that, they sedated her twice, and I think that actually was extraordinarily stressful for her. So we're trying to get Hanuki's blood work done. Thank you for asking, R. Wood. Jenna says, good morning from Oregon. Sam says, thank you, and I really like your new hairstyle. Honestly, this is what happens when you comb it and you use that blow dryer thingy. Um, like I gave up doing my hair a long time ago because I realized as a child, the moment you do it, 10 minutes later, it's going to get messy again. So it never really seemed like like a thing. I just asked for a trim, and the lady also did something with the round comb and a blow dry, and then it made it look like this. And I was like, I like it. I didn't expect it. I like it. But I'm sure when I wash my hair, it'll be back to usual curly self. Oh yes, hello Carl, nice to see you. Pepper, I hope I'm not asking too big of a question. I've heard in December something big is happening with Saturn. Honestly, Saturn, something big is always happening with you. Oh, Saturn is like the ultimate Capricornian drama queen. I'm so intense. I'm so intense. There's always something happening with me. That's how I feel about Saturn now. But it's true. Saturn is going to be conjunct Jupiter at the very tail end of December in the sign of Aquarius. But that is also going to be in conjunct Therius. And I highly recommend looking at yesterday's quick video just to let you guys know, guys, girls, people of a different gender, tomatoes, whatever. But just to let you guys know, I did a video with a lady called, well, the Amelia Fortes, and she was a really good interviewer. I mean, I appreciate interviewers who know their job. And I had a 1 hour discussion on Therius, and I suggest looking at it. It's on yesterday's video. There's a link in the comments, and you can check that out. But yeah, in terms of December, Jupiter and Saturn enter Aquarius together, which is all about the new vibrations are coming. Well, really, it's more about putting into place the network, the energetic network that you ultimately have been setting into stone. And it's really just, it's kind of like you've been stringing up your Christmas tree and it's time to turn on the lights. That's the way I would see it. But I'll talk more about that later on. Carolyn says it was a great interview. Thank you, Carolyn. Pepper says it was great. Thank you. VB asks, ma'am, do you do sessions in Western or Vedic astrology? I am, in terms of calculation, I am a Western astrologer, but I have found that generally when speaking to me, it doesn't really matter because spirit aligns me to what you need to know anyway. Like even if I literally have never heard of an asteroid, something will be making me go and look. No, 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 go to the list. There's something here, there's something here. So in name, I am a Western astrologer. In practice and soul, heaven knows, I certainly don't know. Okay, we got a couple of thank yous from Pepper, Sweet REMs, ML here now from New Mexico. Oh, New Mexico. I love Taos. How many of you have been to Taos, Pueblo? There's probably, apart from New York, that is my favorite place in America. And just generally speaking, the New Mexican landscape. I mean, there's beautiful structures, beautiful red rock. And I went for a pilgrimage there, and it was incredible. I went to this place called Abacu, and it was just phenomenal, especially when Saturn conjuncted the galactic center, I believe, and I did some meditation there. It's a very, very interesting part of the world, and I highly recommend it, especially if you can get to Taos Pueblo. The energy there is extreme, and say hi. Chronic Fish, do you believe in crystals and their powers? Do I breathe? Well, yes, I do. For me, it's not so much a case of belief. Like when I first encountered crystals, I was like, okay, this is supposed to do what now? And then I realized that I started reaching for crystals in ways that I didn't, there was no way I could have known what it was meant to do. And I've always been a big believer in the scientific method because, believe it or not, I started out my journey wanting to be an astrophysicist. So I was excellent at calculus. I loved science. I still love science. And when I got introduced into metaphysics and spirituality, I looked at it from the scientific perspective. Like, is this reproducible? Has this happened enough times for me to believe this? And only when I felt I had enough evidence, then I went, okay, there's something legit. One instance I'll never forget, I was looking at this gem shop, and at that time I was having a terrible UTI, a urinary tract infection. And I just saw this stone and I knew I had to have it. And then I looked it up because I researched on the properties of stones. And of course, it was a piece of blue kyanite, and it was listed there physical symptoms, urinary tract infection. There was no way I could have known that. So every crystal is actually extraordinarily specific, whether it's at a state of mind, a physical issue, a psychological issue, a spiritual issue. It's literally like a pharmacy at an energetic level. People don't know enough about crystals because there's a lot of knowledge. In fact, if you're interested, the best, in my opinion, the best person you could possibly learn about crystals from is Judy Hall. That's Judy, Judy Hall, Hall. The woman is extraordinary. Now, Abundance asks, this Mercury retrograde is happening in my fourth house. Any insight as to how you can make good use of it? Really think before you talk when you are at home or on family matters. In fact, it's better that you don't say anything at all and just observe. Just observe. Don't make waves. Just go, okay, is this happening? Okay, cool. I'll talk about it in a couple of weeks' time. Let's table the discussion. That would be what I'd recommend for you, Abundance. Unless it's a situation where if you don't say anything, you lose your dignity and self-respect. Apart from situations like that, best not to deal with it. That's just going to be drama that's not your own, and you getting involved in another person's drama doesn't help. It just makes the circus a little louder. Make sense? Anybody else? Are we all good? I think we're all good. Yeah? Well, I hope this little check-in has been helpful. I do this once in a while, not all the time because it takes a lot of energy. Oh, hang on. Hold on. Empress Lights asks, how are the planetary alignments connect to the feet and hand? I'm getting throbbing in the feet and my skin is peeling. Chances are that has got to do with Jupiter in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Pisces. Jupiter rules Capricorn rules skin conditions, and Pisces rules the feet. So it's probably got something to do there. There's an entire field called medical astrology. I use some level of that, especially when dealing with clients who are trying to understand chronic conditions, which have happened a long time ago. VB asked, do you do visits to India? I used to live in India, honey. I've done years of ethnographic research in India. I also did my PhD on the basis of the Indian Parliament and visited Delhi and interviewed members of Parliament there. I thought my life was going to be in India, but the universe decided something different. So right now, I would say, no, right now I'm sitting in Malaysia trying to weather the storm. Maybe I might do some online conferences or online thingies later, so just stay tuned and I'll see what I can do. Okay, Christine says hello from Connecticut. Live, Love, Grow says thank you. Melody sends a heart. Empress says she's going to seek out herbs connected to these planets. Thanks, no worries. Abundance says you're going to go look into medical astrology. Enjoy, just don't get overwhelmed by it. And if you're looking into medical astrology, it's super, super, super important you don't go into a fear vibration. Like, like the planets can show you there are certain indications of this. Like there are times where, in fact, twice or thrice, I predicted either a tumor, whether it's an ovarian tumor or a brain tumor for individuals, and they found it and caught it in time and saved their lives. And I was just like, yes. But I've also seen a lot of people with those similar alignments. So just because you see something like, let's say, Pluto in the sixth house, it doesn't mean that person's going to die a horrible death. It takes a lot of looking at the whole chart as a whole. So don't give in to the fear, don't give in to the stereotypes. It takes a lot more than looking at astrology to be able to actually help a person. You got to look at the energy, you got to look at the psyche, you got to look at the context, you got to look at the politics. It's all different pieces of the puzzle. And that's probably why I don't know, I guess it's probably why I do astrology. I don't even like saying I do astrology, but it's probably why I do what I do the way I do it. It's a very holistic thing. Anyway, I'm signing off now. Lots and lots of love to everybody. Take care and oh God, one more question. All right, Brandon, cause it's you. What advice can you give Scorpios with life part 8 for this month? With the energies aligned up, I keep seeing 444, 222 everywhere. Oh God, how do I answer this question? Wait, let me think. Wait, I'm thinking. But this is the last question I'm answering before I go, just because I have a client right now. um, okay, the last thing I would say before I sign off is that Scorpios, especially this month, gotta understand power. You gotta understand power. You gotta understand what it means to throw around your weight versus how to anchor it in yourself. There's a difference between, being a benevolent person with great strength versus being a tyrant, and you're going to be asked to always manage that. There's going to be a lot of projection around. You've got to be clear that sometimes, even with your best intentions, someone may be invested in seeing you in some way that you're not, and that's not your fault. Just be clear in why you do what you do. Be mindful of the energy that you bring to people around you, and that is literally the best you can do. And I'd say that's about it. Bye.